To the arrest of an elected Smith County official. Smith County Clerk Karen Phillips turned herself in this afternoon at the Smith County Jail on a charge of interfering with public duties, an arrest that stems from her allegedly interfering with the arrest of her adult son. Smith County Clerk Karen Phillips walked out of the Smith County Jail just after 3 this afternoon, alongside her husband, Smith County Precinct 3 Commissioner Derrick Phillips.
Ms. Phillips, any comment?
The arrest stems from an incident at the Phillips home on the night of March 28th. It started with an attempt to pull a man over for defective taillights, a friend of Karen Phillips' son, Derrick. The man pulled into the driveway of Karen and Derrick Phillips' home.
This person was saying they were a sovereign citizen, or indicating by the license plate on the back glass of his vehicle, and said he didn't have to comply with the laws, the traffic laws of the state of Texas.
After refusing to offer state ID, another man, Derrick Phillips, got involved.
Second person interjected himself, the one that was in the truck in front of him, interjected himself in the traffic stop. It was very disruptive and interfered with the traffic stop to the point that our deputy, in fear for his own safety, called for a backup unit to come and assist him.
And it was soon after backup arrived that Derrick Phillips ran into his parents' house, refusing to cooperate with deputies.
Very disruptive, very it would have been hard for me back in my day working the streets to not have put him in custody immediately.
And it was during the struggle that Derrick's mother, Karen Phillips, allegedly tried to interfere, resulting in a warrant for her arrest. And again, Karen Phillips is out of jail tonight after being bonded out by her husband, Smith County Commissioner Derrick Phillips. Now, we have also learned tonight the Smith County District Attorney's Office will ask for an outside prosecutor to handle this case. Smith County DA Jacob Putman says in part, prosecuting the son and spouse of a current client could lead to potential legal conflicts of interest with Commissioner Phillips, especially if he's a witness to the events that transpired on March 28, 2023. Now, the DA says current client because Smith County is managed by the Commissioner's Court, which Derrick Phillips is a member of.